All right, welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. Being a Tuesday, we talk matters business. And this morning I want to focus on the future of Biashara with regards to digital space. And the question we're asking this morning are digital and tech opportunities changing how people or mwananchi make money online. We see we are in an era where a lot of businesses are leveraging into the digital space to just boost their businesses, regardless of whatever you're selling. If you're selling, clothes, shoes, products, whichever it is. So that is the conversation we will be having with my guest this morning in studio. Just right next to me is Sandra Kinya. We do have Lydia Omwaga as well at the very far end, and of course John Wambugu. All are entrepreneurs, and they will be helping us understand and make sense of this conversation. Is the tech space shaping how businesses look in the country, specifically? Karibu sana. Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you.
I want to understand, Sandra, the kind of business that you do as we start.
Okay. Okay, so my name is Sandra Kinya. I'm a CEO at Sankey Technologies. I run a computer-based company whereby we sell gadgets such as phones, laptops, desktops, anything concerning tech we handle. We also do computer repairs and we also handle software. Yes.
So for this particular business, did you have to be, quite savvy when it comes to tech, or there's something that motivated you to get into this kind of business as a woman? Because we see a very few women who are in tech.
Okay, so what happened, I think it was a passion from before. And also I got inspired by my sister because she was doing the same. Professionally, I'm a lawyer, but now with the hustling in campus, I ended up in the industry. And I can say the journey has been good so far. Yeah.
All right, let's hear from Lydia at the very far end. Lydia, you're an entrepreneur as well.
Yes.
Tell us what you do on the side.
First of all, my name is Lydia Omagwa. I'm an entrepreneur and a founder of Lee Fashions. Lee Fashions is a fashion business that deals with footwear and everything clothing for men, women, and kids. And we are more of online. We do not have a physical shop yet. And I've been doing this full-time 3 years now, and part-time because when I started my business, I was still in campus. That was 2021. Yes.
So you say currently you're strictly online.
I've always been online.
You've always been online. And,
Yes.
and I'm wondering how now you're able to get your customers hooked to this product. Because at a time when, we are talking about scamming going on and, a lot of frauds, just everything, the mistrust that is happening, when we're talking about online businesses, how are you able to get customers hooked into this?
That is the first biggest challenge when you're running an online business. But I've been using TikTok, WhatsApp mainly for my online presence, and I try have more of a live conversations with my clients, even when I'm showcasing my product, so that they will not feel that you're totally buying from a stranger. And of course, it's been so hard to convince someone because there are so many frauds online. So that has been a very main challenge, but we are able to make most people trust us. Yes.
Uko na pick-up point?
Niko na pick-up point. Sasa the only challenge is watu wenye wako outside Nairobi. But now we have this formal of payment. People are within Nairobi, they can receive the goods, check out, and then pay after checking out everything.
All right. Yeah. John, John is a leader in this digital economy. He understands a lot, when you're talking about matters, digital economy and how just to operate the digital space. But John, would you say that we are perhaps overhyping the digital economy when we're talking about it now creating, opportunities for Kenyans?
Thank you, Annie. And not at all. I do believe and firmly believe that we are actually underrating the digital economy in terms of the opportunities that we can actually be able to get from that. And the digital economy is the backbone of what you call the informal economy, in which Sandra and Lydia are players in it, right? That informal economy, as you've said before, employs over 2 billion people across the world. Here in Kenya, probably over 18 million people, which is around 83 to 87% of people who are employed within the country. And that is probably around 33 to 40% of the GDP in this country. And when you look those numbers across Africa, probably they're around 40 to 45% of people who are thriving with that. It is the biggest employer in this country. Now, the opportunity then is, how can we then amplify the digitization and technology to be able to actually even amplify and even get more opportunities, to which now these two ladies then are really doing something around it. Yes.
Sandra, is yours strictly a physical shop and business, or have you ever tried to leverage the digital space as well?
For us, it's a blend of both, but I would say online plays a big part because we have competition in the market. There are many shops that handle gadgets as well. So I think online, especially TikTok, plays a very huge role, in WhatsApp. Those are the main platforms we operate from, but we do have a physical shop.
All right, so what do you do differently when you talk about, there's a lot of competition happening in your space where you are, but I also do see a lot of, businesses who sell things like, these gadgets, phones, computers, laptops online. I wonder how different you are and how you're able to also get customers hooked, just like I asked Lydia there, when competition is something that is there.
I think for us it's more of we offer quality gadgets at affordable prices. So most of our clients get hooked on the price, and also the service is really nice. We also offer aftercare services whereby, apart from the warranty, we ensure that your device is properly installed, you can use it properly in case of anything. Maybe it occurred during transportation, we do also replacements, and also our repairs are not very costly. So I think that's what keeps us ahead.
How affordable is affordable? Give us an example, because a lot of people would say that, what I'm selling is affordable, but that is something that is relative. What is affordable to you might not be affordable to me.
Yes.
So how affordable is affordable in your eyes?
So I'd say affordable is in terms of comparability. For example, you'll get a gadget such as, let me use an HP 745 G6. You're going to
find... That is a laptop?
Yeah, it's a laptop. You'll find in some areas it's being sold at 35, up to 38, but for us we range at around 28 to 30.
Thousand?
Yes, 1,000, depending on the fluctuations with the market. Yeah.
All right. Lydia, I wonder if you've ever felt the pressure to, to set up a physical shop for your business, and if at all, you talked about sometimes customers who are outside, Nairobi, finding it quite hard to trust that you are a genuine business. Have you ever felt the pressure to keep a blend of both?
Every time, every day wake up, I feel like I need to have a physical shop. But again, with the economy, you have to weigh the costs. Having a physical shop, Sandra, you can talk to me, you really have a lot of costs. You need to pay people who are going to be with you. You cannot run a shop alone. You're going to get other overhead costs like electricity you're going to pay. You need to have Wi-Fi because you really need to have those things. But by the end goal, it's definitely to expand your business. We're going to get there. But right now, I'm just trying to look at it. How am I going to make more money? How am I going to scale up and save more? So that's why, of course, there are those challenges. Clients want to come to a physical shop. That's why I found a solution. I can send a client more than one pair of shoes, more than what they want, so that they can go have a selection of what they would like. Yes.
So you haven't encountered customers who, they ask for they pay on delivery, right? And then, they get the product and then they refuse to, to pay, or they send back your rider and then you go on a loss. You haven't encountered such?
I get that a lot of times. That's why I'm always hesitant to send riders far, like let's say Rongai. That's going to cost me like 1,000 bob, and once a rider gets there, probably a customer is going to switch off their phone. So those are the risks that you have to take in any business. You're not going to always win. So sometimes if I send a rider to Westlands, that's 300 bob, I'll just call it like a loss. But I've also trained my riders to have those negotiation skills with my clients. They keep on trying to also help me with the selling point. I've trained them well so that they also help me selling the items, the products. They're not just riders, they're just part of the sales team.
Yeah, so when they send the product, they are able to encourage whoever is buying to purchase the product.
Yes. Sasa kama nimekutumia New Balance na Samba, client anataka kiatu moja. But ako like, sina pesa ya hizi viatu mbili. So naambianga rider, you go study the client. Unaona ni nini anapenda kuvaa. So hapo utaona nimemwambia, you just do Samba, ni neutral, itendana na vitu mingi utavaa. Just like that. Yes.
My worry is now, Joan, you know, there's this challenge that I asked her about, you know, akituma 2 products the way she says, and then the customer is able to buy one or not buy anything at all. Then how do they now solve that particular crisis there? Because that is a crisis. She's already going at a loss. If she sends the driver and pays the driver 300 Kenyan shillings, but at the end of the day, she doesn't make profit from that, then how do they now handle such a situation?
I think I believe with every business, there is a risk that is involved. And in business, it's about you sell something or you give, but then at the end of the day, what I mean is that selling is about giving. I think that's the point that I'm trying to make here.
Yeah.
When you're selling something, you have to also give something back in return. Now, for Lydia's case, as she's actually been able then to elaborate very, very well, is that at the end of the day, what she's actually then trying to give out there is her trust out there to her customers, right? Has it worked all the time very, very well? Maybe not. Same thing, for example, for Sandra. She will try do the same thing maybe for her clients, because not every client will also come to her shop physically. She doesn't wholly then depend also on foot traffic. She's depending on someone to actually come in and maybe even the next day then call and say, I need this computer of these different specs. Can you actually send that to me? So selling is about giving. Now what you have to give is also a bit of that risk, and also then you also expect then a bit of trust. And those are some of the systematic issues that then you really have then to deal in. But also is that all this, and even when we look even at the daily subsistent businesses, there are 2 ways to look at them. Or there are 2 kinds of businesses within what we are calling then that particular informal economy. I can be able just to expand onto it slightly. There is what you're calling the subsistence informal economy. These are businesses that are for daily survival. You know, the mkokoteni pushers or the cart pushers, they are called, the mamambogas. All those are people who are depending on daily survival on a day-to-day. And those needs are always slightly different from another group within the informal economy called the growth informal economy, what you call SMEs. Now, from what they've described, both Lydia and Sandra, I do believe they are on that borderline of they are on the SMEs. Because you've had, maybe she has a store, she's trying then to expand to a different. So what she's thinking about is putting up systems. So that's the growth or informal economy. And the needs of digitization with both of them are very, very different. For her, as she has said, she's trying then, she has been using then WhatsApp and the existing ecosystem of TikTok that has been there. So WhatsApp, TikTok, probably even Facebook or even Instagram. Instagram, you're also there. They're using that. Sandra will tell you the same thing. But the needs, she's trying to reach more customers. She's also doing that. But I do believe for Sandra, because she has a physical shop, she's trying to find a way where she says, can I open another branch in Kisumu? She's trying then to probably then scale that. Maybe probably she can tell us that's what she's aspiring to be. For her, at the end of the day also, she is also dealing with riders. And one thing that I liked what Lydia said is that she has already built a system. You know, she's got the riders, but she has also been training the riders, right? When you go to a customer, analyze, usiende tu upatiane mzigo tu hivi, ufungue mlango, alafu uambiwe wewe ni mwizi, but also analyze. So she's training her customers, and the beauty is that she's building a system within that particular system. Yes.
All right. And we have some feedback coming in. I want us to take a look at some of them. Socials, TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube, on X at TV47 Digital. Remember to tag me at Annie_Dida. Let's sample what you have to say. We are talking about the future of businesses and slash Ostrock Biashara this morning. Digital and tech opportunities changing how Mwananchi make money. Jane from Kayode says, I sell vegetables and sometimes customers ask if I can take orders on WhatsApp. How can a mama mboga like me start using digital platforms without losing money? All right, that is Jane. Jane is asking about mama mboga. We have Peter from Nakuru. Peter says, I have a small shop, but business is very low. Is online business really working for ordinary people or only influencers and big brands? That is Peter from Nakuru. We also have Faith from Kisii. Faith says, I started selling clothes online, but customers keep asking for delivery before payment. How do small business owners protect themselves from losses? That's Faith. And we also have Samuel from Embakasi. For the boda rider on the panel, unfortunately wasn't able to make time for us this morning. That you're asking, has technology really improved earnings, or are apps and digital payments making life harder? We'll ask him next time we have him. Samuel, thank you for that question. And Marcy from Mombasa says, I make snacks from home and want to start selling online. Which platforms is best for beginners with little capital? I want us to start from that point. Which platforms is best for beginners with little capital? Sandra, would you advise on that?
Yeah, sure.
All right, you can just speak up from that.
Yeah, for beginners with small capital, I'd really recommend TikTok. On TikTok, you can easily get traffic once you start understanding the crowd. Most of the times, I've realized for TikTok, it's mostly the trend and the traffic you get. And mostly it comes with interesting characters, I'd say, and very dramatic stories. And I'd say TikTok has become one of the major movements that has happened in Kenya. We have seen several lives have been changed through TikTok, fundraising, soccer, and I feel like TikTok is one platform that shows the unity of Kenyans. So I'd feel like for a small creator, I'd advise them to start with TikTok, because for Instagram it gives a lot of posh vibes, you know. Yeah, but for TikTok it's a blend of everyone.
All right, and I do agree, TikTok is really just a blend of everyone. I think, you know, we even have people from Facebook who are able to access TikTok and get whatever they want. John, which app would you recommend for, you know, somebody with little capital, from that feedback that we've received, the very last feedback that we've read?
Yes, I always advocate for for using platforms that are existing within your ecosystem. For example, start with WhatsApp status. It's already there. It's on your phone. Take something that you're selling. You're selling mugs. You're selling computers. You're selling shoes. For the case for Lydia here. Put them on your status, and you start selling within your community, within people who are actually able, who know you, and you actually start there. The idea is that you start where you are. So use what is already tangible and what is next to you. Then as you're moving on, that doesn't limit you now to what Sandra is talking about, which is then going to TikTok, for example. And then now you start now scaling using TikTok. Now, if your content is very, very good, because TikTok really takes advantage of the kind of content you're putting, because the algorithm really picks just good content, right? It's very easy just to pick good content and just, you know, moves with it. And as you're moving towards that now, depending on the product you're selling, Instagram is also very, very good for lifestyle products and services. That's when you see people are traveling, they are going to different places. You really want to push it on Instagram. And then, of course, Facebook, good old Facebook, has been there over the years. And that also cuts across. If you want to reach mass market, if, for example, you have a product or a service, I'll give an example of maybe education. You're doing something around education. Facebook is very, very good because our mothers, our fathers are there, and that they're actually taking it up and they're really looking at it. So it is to know at what step then do you actually engage, even where can you actually also be able to promote your products, mean that you pay something small to actually be able to promote your product to reach more and more people. But the idea, and this is the opportunity that tech and digital gives in this particular, in the informal economy, is that you can actually start with where you are. You can start within your community. You live in a place that, for example, you live in an apartment, you live in a flat, you live in a small community. You have a WhatsApp group, you're selling bananas, you're selling shoes, Lydia, you're selling some tablets and computers, Sandra. You can be able to actually put them on your status and you build it from there. Yes.
All right.
That's how I look at it.
Great. Lydia, as you also respond to that, this issue of little capital and how there are platforms that somebody can leverage on. Tell us how much you started with when you were, starting into business.
Believe it or not, I had 800 bob.
Wow.
When I started my business, at first I used to sell thrifted clothes. I remember I brought like three or four dresses. I bought them from, how is it called? There's this bus station.
All right.
Yes, I was in campus. That's how I started. When I was in campus, I was selling thrifted clothes. So for those 3 dresses, and niliwapea kitu mzuri, and that's how the word spread. Where did you get your dress from? Lydia gave it to me. So that's how I got clients. And then we got to COVID. Now I scaled. So tukaanza kuleta kuanzia 1500. Alafu naongeza ka profit kadogo, so 3, so 4 hapo. And that's how I grew my clientele. And from there, I shifted now to shoes. Because I love shoes. I love a good sneaker. So now I switched to something that I love more. Yes.
All right.
And about which social media platform that you can use to promote your business as a beginner, I agree with both Sandra and John. WhatsApp and TikTok. But let's start with WhatsApp. WhatsApp ni watu wenye already, the people who already know you. So if you can't say you're selling this, people will not know.
Yeah.
Kuna mtu atakujaone, msichana ameanza biashara juzi, let me just promote her. That is for hope. And then once you go back to TikTok, the good thing about TikTok, if you have 500 followers, your video can go viral to over 100,000. It does not translate like if you have these followers, views zako zitakuwa hivi. So it reaches a larger audience, unlike Instagram. Yes.
All right. I still want us to just sample this feedback and respond to them, the ones that came in. And somebody said that they have, a small shop, but business is running very slowly. And they were wondering if, businesses really work for ordinary people or just for big influencers. I understand that he meant, the digital space. What do you think? And how would you respond to that, Sandra? Would you call yourself an influencer or somebody who is big in the digital space?
Personally, I'd say at some point we are all influencers. Business teaches you a lot of things. And if you are going to look for influencers, I think it's a short-term solution. With time, you will need to come out, be courageous and be the influencer yourself. We have seen that with several prominent business women who are shaping the online industry. We have Shikoa E-Style, we have seen Rakeri Weeks, and so many others. So at some point, you'll just have to know how to hook the crowd to your content. Is it the style that you greet your customers? Is it your dressing style? What really hooks them? Do you go with the trendy dances that occur online as you promote your product? So I feel like business teaches you a lot as you go. Yeah, you end up becoming a content creator.
Whether you like it or not.
Yes.
So it's not only working for ordinary people, you have to be an influencer in one way or the other.
Yeah, also ordinary people can do it.
All right.
Provided you step up.
Would you call yourself a big brand? Because that is the question that Peter, sent in.
I'd say I'm in between.
You're in between?
Yes.
John, I wonder if you'd love to comment on this. He says, I have a small shop, but business is very slow. Is online business really working for ordinary people or only for influencers and big brands?
The beauty that digitization has brought is that everyone can be an influencer, right? With your phone, you can be, that barrier has been cut down. And I remember also when you're selling your product or service, you'd rather be loved by a small group of people than liked by so many. What that means is that when you listen to Sandra and Lydia, and so many, even it's Peter who has asked that particular question, is that find a product that is niche for you. And then find what is unique within that particular product.
Yeah.
Now, she said she started doing with thrift, but then everyone will be asking her, where are you actually getting that? She wasn't the only person who's actually selling thrift during that particular period. There are many other people who are selling, but they'd actually not go to that, and they'd actually go to her. And I do believe, Lydia, even from the customers that you used to get back then during the thrift business, they're the ones that you crossed with to do that, because they associated you with good quality products. So you niche your product. You don't have to do everything and be a master of none. Niche your product and then build a community around them. And I think that's what Sandra also, with her tech business, she's actually then doing tech product business. She's actually then doing. She's been able to niche it, then grow a community, and then once you have then that particular community, then you're able then to actually then scale. And we've talked before about what you call the purple cow, right?
Yeah.
Find what is unique within your business. Find what really makes people say, oh, that's special. That's not just a black and white cow, that's a purple cow in that particular business. And they'll say, I really want that, because there's so many businesses that are happening. So I think even to encourage Peter and what they are doing is that he has to start from where he is. And for Peter, he cannot also afford to be embarrassed. Some people are embarrassed in saying that I will be seen that I'm putting my things on my status, on my TikTok, I've gone live, what watasema nini. So people have to stop being embarrassed. Stop being embarrassed to be embarrassed.
Shame is a mindset.
Exactly. Flip your mindset, flip your attitude. The world is really open, and these are the opportunities that digitization then has actually brought. Yes.
Lydia, how are you curating your content, to make it interesting for your customers, and not necessarily even your customers, somebody who's just scrolling through TikTok and will stumble upon your feedback, your page, something that would have them hooked. If I'm scrolling and then nikuone and niseme, hey, let me stop by and listen to what this lady has to say. So this is, by the way, with regard to the question that Peter just, sent in, that is it working for only influencers and big brands? And I'm interested to know how, for you curate your content.
The competition is high. Everybody's selling sneakers, especially sneakers. But now you just have to create your content to be unique. You need to connect with your clients. These are the things that somebody is going to ask. Yes, I've bought shoes. How am I going to style the shoes? How am I going to clean them? Some people will just come and just showcase the products. I'm selling this New Balance 9060 and that's it. But I take a further step and try, this is how you're going to style. You're going out for brunch, this is how you're going to style the shoes. And also maintenance. I also do a lot of videos how you're going to maintain your sneakers, are you going to clean them, and which type of sneakers are you going to use during this type of weather and this. And also you have to be ready to be embarrassed. There are things that we do online, especially on TikTok. You have to dance, you have to know what's trending this week, you have to hop into that trend, and you're going to get a lot of negative comments. There people come, I don't want to mention names. Inajua penye inauzwa na 800 na hapo mimi nauza na 2500. So you have to have a thick skin, because social media they're just keyboard warriors. Kila mtu ataandika venye anataka. And lastly, it doesn't only work for influencers. You have to be consistent. You can't post for like twice a week and just call it a page, a business page. No. If you go and look at Nila, I think you know that lady Nila,
yes.
Baby Shop. She posts, I think, under 1 hour, over 100 posts. So you have to be consistent so that the algorithm is going to pick you. And that's how you're going to gain followers. Because from TikTok, if you want to go live, I love that about TikTok because it has many features on how you're going to sell your products. You have to get to 1,000 followers so that you'll be able to go live and sell your...
I think that changed. Right now you can,
can.
you know, if you wouldn't have 300 followers, you can go live.
But you have to pay for ads. You have to pay for ads. So you have to get to a certain number. So you have to be consistent with posting, trying to create unique content. And you also have to check in with your competitors. What are they doing? So that I have to up my game. All right. Yes, and WhatsApp posting things on WhatsApp, it's so cringe, honestly, because people are like, I'm posting a status 1,000, but kuna mtu moja atapita per day, and you're going to get some clients. That's how I started. For me, it was WhatsApp, and then I shifted to TikTok. Yes. All right. Before we get some, some more feedback, I want us to finalize on the ones that came in. And there's Faith from KC asked a very interesting question. We were talking about it for people who ask for pay on delivery. That how do small business owners now protect themselves from losses? I wonder if you've ever been in a position, Sandra, where you've had to send a product that has not been paid for, to somebody who's, say, in Nairobi, even outside Nairobi. Have you ever encountered that?
Yes, we do encounter that.
You do?
I'd say on a 2 weeks basis, we have such cases. So I'd give a recent scenario whereby I did the personal delivery. It was actually a premium laptop. And that's why I'd recommend border riders. They really play a huge part in this digital game, because for us they work as security at the same time. They are also part of the sales team, just as Lydia has said. So I went and delivered this laptop. It was actually a company. I did the setup, everything, and then when it was time for payment, the person who had sold the laptop to went. And I was left now to deal with the authorities in the office. I stayed for that office from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I was only paid when I started raising a complaint. So it's normally a challenge. Sometimes you can hear the rider telling you that the client took the machine and they said they paid, but they actually didn't pay. So it ends up being lost. So I'd say for this, it mostly depends with how you train your riders or whoever who is delivering your product. Tell them to show you receipts of payment, to call back to the shop to confirm if the machine has been paid for. And most of the times, riders act as security. If there is no payment, do not dispatch the product. Yeah.
Do you know how to protect themselves from making losses as small business owners? How do they do it?
One thing, and I do believe that I was talking to an insurance brokerage just the other day, and they were saying that because of the cases that have been highlighted, they are also now looking to actually insure the SMEs on the logistics. Just the same way when a big shipment comes from Mombasa all the way, for example, to Naivasha, there is insurance on it. So those are some of the things that I do believe, especially because this is your business that you're building up. You can actually also try and I do believe reach out on a few brokerage companies who can be able then to help you with a bit of insurance. I mean, you've had also people even take insurance on their cattle, on their, on their agriculture. So for valuable items, especially you're looking at tech items, which are very, very valuable. Computer is probably going for 200,000 shillings. Really and truly, I think taking a bit of risk, just the same way you can do for your car or something else. It's very important for also people within the business to actually do that. But at the end of the day, gut feeling is also very, very important. Also try and you have, of course, border riders. Boda boda riders traditionally were just the person you get outside your gate, unamwambia nifikishe town. But right now they are also part of these apps for delivery. They're in different apps for, you know, and so they also understand the routes even much better. They understand where it is safe. They understand they might also have good experience, you know, lived experience of where they took you know, a product and the person refused to pay.
Yeah.
So they are also very good. And again, it's also just relying on that particular existing ecosystem that you're actually doing.
All right. I want us to get more feedback. Remember, we are using the hashtag TV47 Breakfast, hashtag Story Nietu, TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube, and the next at TV47 Digital. Let's sample more feedback. All right, we have George from Thika, and he says, digital businesses replacing physical shops, and should young people still invest in opening shops or focus on online biashara? Thank you so much, George, for that question. We have Anne from Eldoret, and she says, many small traders fear technology because of scams. How can wananchi safely embrace digital biashara? All right. We also have Miriam from Nyeri. I run a mitumba business, but sales are unpredictable. Can social media genuinely increase customers for a small trader? All right. And we also have Kevin from Rongai. And Kevin says, what digital skills should ordinary Kenyans learn right now to make extra income or grow biashara? We have Beatrice from Githirai, and Beatrice says, she says, sometimes we hear about online business success stories, but many people fail silently. What mistakes should mwananchi avoid when going digital? We have Brian from Kisumu. Brian says, for people without smartphones or expensive internet, digital opportunities leaving some mwananchi behind. And we have Lucy from Kitengela. Lucy says, I am employed but want a side hustle. Is online biashara still profitable in 2026, or is the market already overcrowded? That is Lucy from Kitengela, and that is our final feedback this morning. I want us to start from that point. Sandra, is online businesses still profitable in 2026? She says she's employed, but she's thinking, you know, of going digital as well. I think she wants to start a side hustle or something of the sort. Would you say there's something that is profitable, looking at it from, you know, where you sit as a CEO and a business owner?
I'd say yes, I'd agree. Because when I began the journey, I actually had zero capital, to be honest.
Zero capital?
Yeah, it was a long journey. My sister is in the same business.
Yes.
For her, she runs, it's called Labtech Electronics. So I was more of a branch for her. So what happened, I started with social media. There is this thing called drop shipping, whereby the product is not mine. My work is to connect the customer and the product, but now I source the product from somewhere else.
In short, broker.
Yeah, a broker. I was a broker.
Okay.
So most of the time I'd get, let's say, the machines at wholesale price, and I sell them to the client. Then the upper profit, I keep it for myself. So I'd say, even if you are employed, because when I started, I'm still in school. I'm yet to finish school. Because even when I started, I was like, this comrade lifestyle, I'm not liking it, and I have to step out of my comfort zone. And that's how I started. And I started with WhatsApp, I started with TikTok, and I tried pushing it. And for sure, I'll tell you, for the first 3-6 months, zero sales. It was like, there is nothing you are doing. You are pushing your product. You are telling people about it. When you get a sale, it's like 1 laptop in 3 months. But now with digital spaces, in terms of business, you get finesse as you go. It won't be as hard Because if for my sister who has been in the business for quite a while, for her she makes sales very easily, like on a daily basis. For me, I'd say I'm mid-range. For her, she's advanced, you see. So it's resilience, patience, and you have to have hope. You can't say the market is crowded. Everywhere it's crowded right now. You have to find a way that you'll make your products unique and personify the touch you attach in that product. Yes.
I want you to give us inspiration from your sister, for example, now that you've mentioned her. What is she doing differently, you know, from what you're doing now that you say that for her, making sales is quite easy, that she, you know, she makes sales every now and then. What is she doing differently that you'd, you know, tell somebody who's also starting and somebody who's where you are at the moment to also steal from?
I'd say for her, she diversifies her marketing and she has a team behind her. So it's not her alone who is on the job. So you'll find out like she has a website. I'm yet to put mine up. She's also on Instagram. She's on TikTok. You can also pay for meta ads. We are still doing the same. But for her, she has been doing it for a longer period of time. We have Gigi, we have Jumia. So mostly I'd say she's everywhere, on every digital platform. And I'd say thank you to her because, she's been like my role model and really held my hand in the industry. So
diversification has helped. All right, John, there's a very interesting question that also came in from Thika, and he was asking, should young people still invest in opening shops, or should young people focus on online Biashara? What would you advise?
One, depends on what you're selling, but when I look into the future, as we look into the future, digital platforms are replacing institutions. They are replacing the story of the four walls, right? And if you can start thinking like that, you know, like what even Lydia then is doing, I'd actually encourage that particular direction. Because at the end of the day, even a generation that now even is coming, when you even look at our kids and so on, there are kids who are working, they have seen you ordering things online. They themselves even order stuff online, you know. So already in their minds, that is where they know that they are actually meant to ship. I can even foresee a time when if you need to buy even a car, for example, you just go online, you order and it, someone just brings it to your doorstep. So that's very, very critical. The other thing is that it is important, and I keep on saying this, to build around existing behavior and use digital tools that we use every day. Digital tools, of course, like your WhatsApp, your TikTok, your Facebook. Use them as much as possible, but build around an existing behavior. There is no need to start trying to venture out and rediscover new behavior. Use what people are actually using, because it's already a habit. It is a pattern, that it is a way of life. I wake up in the morning, I look at my WhatsApp, you know. So what can you then do with that, apart from just replying messages and sending out emojis to people? So that's, you can actually be able then to build on that. So I'd ask anyone then who's building that, doesn't mean you have a physical product, but really and truly try and find ways you can be able to reach there. And well, without that, once you able to build a community for you, and this is for both the two ladies here, invest heavily in what you call edu content or educational content. People are emotive buyers. It is not just enough to describe for me the features of this particular mug. It is important for me to, how will it transform my life? How will it expand my lifestyle? Because people are emotional buyers. You know, they don't buy through logic, but they make sense out of it because you know, because as it's an emotional trigger when you're actually buying something. So invest in good content, invest in very thought out content. Think of how you can build content around psychology, because every person is psychological marketing. You can be able to see what would actually click more. When I post my video about my product, within 1 to 4 seconds, does it actually have a hook? Does it hook me up to say, okay, I will actually stay there? And the best thing that I've actually discovered is entertainment. People don't run away from entertainment. Build an entertainment around it. Even if you look at the content creators and the influencers who are actually then been doing it, they build a story around it. People have a story. People have a good story about your laptops, Sandra. People have a good story about your sneakers, Lydia. And if you're able to fold a good story to a product, because we are triggered to love stories since our grandmothers, you know, they'd actually tell stories to us. That is not different. People love, niambie. And if they are able to see that in your product, then really and truly you're building something up.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you have to be offering solutions with your product. Because Lydia mentioned it, and I was to point it out before, you know, we took some feedback, that for her, she's able to, you know, show her customers how, you know, how and when you can put on that particular sneaker, how you can wash it, and how you can, you know.
That's education now. That's what she's doing, because at the end of the day, people want to feel like you care for them beyond the sale. When I sell you, how about you tell me what polish do I buy for my sneaker, you know? How do I care for my machine? It is dirty, what do I need to actually do? And maybe she can even start selling even that particular polish. Why not? And say, so now she's looking at actually then bundling it. You know, because bundling in marketing is also something that is also, or in sales is also very, very big.
Yeah. And
so it is value, you give value, and you give value. Selling is about giving.
All right. There's, you know, still on that question, you know, that feedback on whether to open a physical shop or to go directly, you know, into online Biashara. And I'm thinking of, you know, the issue of diversification, as, you know, Sandra mentioned. What is the risk of fully, you know, going into diversifying this business, opening a physical shop and doing an online shop, opening a website, all these things all at once? Does it create some sort of risk to, you know, the person who's just getting into business, or what does it do?
Diversification, you see, also doesn't mean that you're opening different fronts at the same. It means also in terms of product. Down the road, you can diversify your product. But I always say, start with one channel that works for you, and then build it up. If you're going to have a physical shop, you cannot have a physical shop and you're not online. Really and truly at this particular age, you cannot afford that.
They have to be both.
You have to be both. So I don't see that as diversification. I see that as something that you actually have to do. Diversification will then come meaning that she has been selling shoes. Now can she now start selling shirts or belts or something like that? She has been selling laptops. Can she start even selling maybe a bit of screens and so on, you know, like TV screen or smart screens, which are you know, they are tech, you know, they are tech savvy. So I do believe at this particular stage that we are in, right? If you're going to be a player in the economy, if you're going to be a player in the informal economy, the best way, and you have nothing, start with digital, start with a small community that follows you. Probably you have 200, 300 people on your WhatsApp who follow you. Don't be embarrassed. Push it out there. That person will see something. And the best way for growth is also organic growth. Sandra has told us a very, very good story about her sister and even her own personal story when she was starting. It's very, very organic. People say, I bought something nice, the service was very, very good, and I keep on getting good value. And that's how then you actually grow that particular business.
All right. We are coming to the end of this conversation, but I'd love for us to just do a parting shot to advise somebody who is starting on, you know, Biashara, and they're wondering really what to do to, you know, have an upper hand in the digital space when they're starting. Lydia, you can, you know, start us off with that point.
Somebody who's starting business,
Yeah.
it also depends how much money they have. There's somebody who's going to come in with very little, and there's people who are privileged. But I would advise both to start small. Don't have so much expectations, and don't think that after posting in 1 week I'm going to make a sale. As Sandra said, you can take up to 6 months for you to make a sale, because you have to bring product awareness to people. This product has been marketed for like 6 months. So you just have to be consistent with showing up for your business, posting and everything. And also, there's something that Sandra said. Sorry.
We'll give you time to remember it,
Yes,
right?
yes.
As you remember it. Sandra, give us a parting shot. What advice would you give somebody who's just starting off in business?
For someone who is starting off in business, I would ask them, like, risk is important, but also protect what you have. At the same time, if you want to sell a product, this is what I advocate for. For example, you want to sell, let's say, furniture. I'd advise you go to someone who is already selling furniture, and you can ask them for you to be a supplier. Be a broker in that sense. You go take pictures and then post them as yours. With time, you will scale your financial capacity, and you can now start a solid business. And also, I'd say, like, the journey of 1,000 steps, 1,000 miles begins with one step. You can't lose hope early. You have to wake up, you have to push yourself, you have to have hope. There will be many rainy days, but that one sunny day can change a lot. It can change a lot, and I really advocate for business as it comes with a lot of freedom. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. And John, for your final comment, and in 1 minute, kindly. Beatrice, she's from Githurai, and she asks, what mistakes should Mwananchi avoid when, starting off, when they're going digital? What mistakes should they be avoiding?
Okay, from my experience in building tech platforms is test your product as fast as possible and as cheap as possible. Don't overcomplicate it. You're selling whatever business you're doing, test it out to the community that you're getting. And right now, start it even on WhatsApp. Put it on your status, start there. Start getting feedback from your people as soon as possible. Don't wait 2 years down the line and then you're saying, I need to actually then be doing something that is different. Test it to the market, take it to the market as possible. The market will always give you feedback. Do they like your sneakers? Do they like your laptops? Do they like, they'll give you feedback, and then now you're able to do what you call ideation, or you're able then to change using that particular feedback.
All right. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for making time for us to have this conversation on the future of Biashara. Are digital and tech opportunities changing how you as Mwananchi make money? And let's continue this conversation on our socials, TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube, on X at TV47 Digital. You can tag me at Annie_Dida. Somebody's asking, nimeona your message. Unauliza, easy text message mnatuma wapi? I would love to send mine. 0793 267 279. That is our WhatsApp line. Sarah, that is your name. That is our WhatsApp number. Once again, 0793 267 279. And we do thank you for watching. John Wambugu is an entrepreneur and digital industry leader. Lydia Omwaga, the verifier, and is an entrepreneur. And of course, Sandra Kenya is the CEO at Sankey Technologies. Once again, thank you so much for making time. We've come to the end of this conversation, and we want to take a very short break. We're coming back with a different conversation on domestic violence and protection orders. We'll be having Wakili Ruth Tanu in studio with us to help us understand what our rights are, and if really victims of domestic violence know where to turn to for protection. You're watching TV47 Breakfast. My name is Annie Odida. Stay right here.